We're about 33 miles to the southwest of the city of Portland, Oregon, at a small town called McMinnville, home of the Evergreen Aviation Museum and the gigantic Hughes H-4 Hercules, commonly known as the Spruce Goose, the largest aircraft ever made out of wood, and certainly one of the largest aircraft in the world, just slightly short of a few famous giants. Today, we're going to learn some interesting facts about this huge airplane, but most importantly, we're going to take a guided cockpit tour. So sit back, relax, and enjoy. The Hercules was manufactured by Howard Hughes during the 1940s and had its first and only flight in November 2nd, 1947, near Long Beach, California. It is 218 feet and 18 inches long and has a wingspan of 319 feet and 1 inch. It has an empty weight of 300,000 pounds and a maximum takeoff weight of 400,000 pounds. It is powered by 8 massive Pratt & Whitney R4360 engines. Each engine has 4 rows of 7 cylinders each, for a total of 28 cylinders that together produce about 3,000 horsepower. This means that with all 8 engines running at full power during takeoff, a total of about 24,000 horsepower was available. The Spruce Goose was not very fast, only about 150 miles per hour, but had a top speed of about 230 miles an hour. Its range was close to 3,000 miles, with 12,500 gallons of fuel. Its service ceiling was estimated to be between 17,400 and 21,000 feet. Well, enough of this. Let's head upstairs and take a look.
Okay. Wow,
Pretty good size, huh?
amazing. What's all this instrumentation here?
All this instrumentation is for basic flight testing.
Oh, for flight testing.
Yeah, flight testing. It all was really tied into your electrical system and your system information related to your hydraulics, generators, engine control systems, vibration analyzers. They were all tied into these particular boxes.
Wow. Now, I know this airplane, pretty much it only flew once, right?
Yes, that's correct.
And it didn't got very high off the water.
It got off the water about 70 feet.
About 70 feet.
Yes.
Now, was there a record, or did they have any calculations or anything that would let them have an idea of what would be its service ceiling if it was to fly up higher?
Its surface ceiling, I believe, was close to 20,000 feet.
Wow.
That's what they were targeting for certifications. Was 20,000 feet, and then it had I believe 4,100 mile distance.
That's a pretty good range.
Yeah, pretty good range for it.
Oh yeah, a lot more than coast to coast.
Right. You had, for fuel load, you had 14,000 gallons of gasoline.
14,000 gallons. Wow.
14 tanks, 1,000 gallons apiece.
14 1,000 gallon tanks. Wow, that's.
And a max load on this aircraft, I think, was 400,000 pounds.
400,000. Now, how much is the airplane weight itself? Like, what's the empty weight of the airplane?
I want to say it was a little over 150, 200,000.
200,000 pounds? Wow. Amazing.
The other thing I want to point to you in here in the back. This is one of the only aircraft that you can actually walk out into the wing spar, the entire length of the wing, all the way down on the right wing to the number 8 engine, and on the left wing all the way down to the number 1 engine.
So the number 1 engine. So this what we're looking at here is the leading edge of the right wing.
This is the wing root
Yeah.
of the right wing.
Oh, the wing root.
The
Okay.
wing root with engines 5, 6, 7, and 8 on the right hand side. And on my left, you have the wing root for engines 1, 2, 3, and 4.
Pretty impressive. And what was the idea behind being able to walk out to the engines? Could you actually do any
You
servicing?
couldn't do any maintenance on the engines
Uh-huh.
because of the way the Pratt & Whitney 4360 was designed.
Uh-huh.
A majority of the engine actually is out beyond the firewall.
Uh-huh.
So they were limited as to, they couldn't do any work on the engine per se, but they could actually go out there and check for any type of leaks and any type of servicing on the engine.
On the engines. Yeah, I imagine they got really, really hot too.
Yes. What you're looking at here are your auxiliary power units.
This is the APU, okay.
It's the
two of them.
APU. It's
Wow.
2 Franklin 4-cylinder aircraft engines connected to generators.
Oh
This
yeah,
runs-
they're horizontally opposed engines, right? Looks like.
Right.
Wow.
Yep. This tank that's behind you
Uh-huh.
is a 180 gallon oil tank.
180 gallon oil
It
tank.
is a reserve oil tank.
Uh-huh.
It is controlled by electronic switches up on the flight engineer station.
Uh-huh.
The flight engineer has the ability to monitor oil consumption on each of the engines.
So you
and
could
if necessary, he can tap into this tank to direct any oil to engines that are
To any
either
engine that
on
needs
the
it.
exactly. Anything on the left or anything on the right.
So I remember I saw another tank over there. Those are actually the tank for that
That's the
particular
tank
engine.
for that particular
For that engine.
itself. Correct.
Wow,
Yep.
that's pretty amazing. Let me look at this panel here. What they got here?
That's the flight engineer station.
Fly engineer.
That panel actually worked in conjunction with our flight engineer panel, which we'll look at here in a second.
Yes.
What you can see in regards to, well, everything that's associated to that looks like it gives you altitude, attitude.
The
It gives
pressurization.
you all your pressurization.
It was actually pressurized, huh? Because
I think your pressurization is more what's in the tank. I don't think this is a pressurized.
pressurized aircraft. Okay,
No.
I see. So that flight deck diff pressure is for that for the water, you mean, or the
Well, for down in the tanks.
in the tanks? Okay,
Yeah.
okay. Wow, very interesting.
Let's slide up here and let's get your picture taken.
So this here is part of the what you told me about the ventilation system,
This is
right? For the
tied-
air
this is tied to
purification.
the air purification system.
Uh huh.
And the manifold that you see just aft of your pilot seat with the manifold going up and over, we have the ability to move that up and turn it
Uh-huh.
where it would actually be blowing down directly on top of the pilot.
I see. And this here is
This is your
Navigator.
communications, navigation,
communications. Uh huh. Wow.
and then behind you is the flight engineer station.
Wow, look at all
You'll see
these
your
gauges.
engines numbered across the top, 1 through 8. And then, of course, they're read in columns.
Uh huh. In columns, yes, for each engine.
Yes.
Look at that. Wow. These are what are those levers here? The
The
H.
levers right there that have the E and the H's on them,
Uh huh.
those are our ability to trim the engines.
Uh huh.
Trim meaning that you can give the aircraft slight trim movements that will help the pilot with his command and control of the throttle response.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Oh, wow. Now, in order to move the flight control surfaces, did it have hydraulics?
Yes.
I would imagine
It
because
had
they're
hydraulic assisted,
huge.
it had electric hydraulic assisted flight controls.
okay.
You had to, just with the
Oh, yeah.
size of the
There's just
size
no
of
way.
your flaps and rudders and everything else, there was no way you could physically move that by
Yeah,
upper
human.
body strength
Yes.
or arm and body strength.
Yeah.
No way.
No, I bet. That's amazing. Here we have the co-pilot seat. Well, this is interesting. Can I sit up in the pilot
Yeah,
seat?
absolutely. In fact, let's get your picture taken. That's what you paid for.
Now, let me ask you something because this is pretty interesting.
Okay.
What is this joystick over here? I mean, it looks pretty modern for being.
Modern for a 1940s aircraft,
Yes.
but that was actually a trim control.
Okay. Wow, it's definitely very modern for a 1940s aircraft.
All right, let's get your picture here real quick.
Okay.
Before we forget,
Okay.
look back at me. There we go. Let's get you in the picture. Gotcha.
All right.
Gotcha.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Let me just take some quick video of all these buttons.
Are you a pilot?
Yes.
Are you?
Yes.
Great. Couple things I want to point out
Uh-huh.
is when he flew this aircraft on that November day in 1947,
Uh-huh.
he did not have 8 throttles. He had 4.
He had 4
He
throttles.
had 1 throttle for every 2 engines.
Look at that. Hi. Here we go. These are the throttles, right?
Yes, correct.
So he had actually 4 of them.
So he actually had 4.
Uh-huh.
And Howard Hughes, being a man of redundancy, wanted to have that ability to control each particular throttle independently of one another.
Uh-huh.
So he had his team come in and design the throttle quadrant to put 1 throttle for each engine. We're experiencing some severe vibrations back here. It
Ah.
might be in your best interest to put the airplane back in the water. So therefore, took off,
Can you
ground effect or not, and then put it back into the water.
Okay. So that's why. Otherwise, yeah, he was already airborne. I'm sure he.
It was already airborne.
Yes.
In fact, evidence of that, when you leave the tour today and you walk down the stairs back to the museum floor, go to the back of the airplane, looking up at the empennage or the tail section of the plane,
yeah.
you'll see what looks like a zipper around the circumference of the tail.
Okay.
That's the area that they've taken and reinforced as far as the tail section of the airplane.
In order to pretty much to fix.
To fix
Whatever
the
was causing that vibration.
Yes, that's where they determined the vibration was coming from.
I see. But they just never got around to fly it again.
That's correct. In fact, after he flew it that day, he put the aircraft in his own specially designed, climately controlled hangar and maintained it in flight ready condition for 33 years